Hello, this is Rebecca with Digital Thinker. In a previous video, we reviewed quick store-to-store transfers. In this video, I will walk through the formal store-to-store requisition, issue, and receipt process. For example, I may need to request materials from a site located across town. I may know based on stock details that the other store has the materials I'm looking for in stock, but I may not be privy to whether or not those materials are planned or reserved. So I could create a store-to-store requisition to request the materials from the other store. So from the materials menu, navigate to Store-to-Store Requisitions. On the record view screen, enter a description and complete the requisition details. You'll need to enter the from store. So this would be the store that I'm requesting the materials from, and then select your to store. This represents the receiving store and typically would be the store requesting the materials. Then on the parts tab, we can add the part or parts being requested. So here I could go ahead and select the materials that I'm looking to restock. Once the requested parts have been added to the Parts tab, you can navigate back to Record View and follow the applicable status flow for your organization. I am logged in as an admin, so I will go ahead and approve this store-to-store requisition. As a storeroom manager for the From store, which in this example would be my central storeroom, I will want to monitor these store-to-store requisitions. If I am able to accommodate the request from my point of use, I could proceed with processing a store-to-store issue to issue the materials from the central storeroom to the point of use location. The store-to-store issue screen is available from the Materials menu under Transactions, Store-to-Store Issues. Now I do want to pause that a store-to-store requisition is not required, and I could have skipped that step altogether, but I do believe it helps to facilitate store-to-store transfers. So in my example, I can simply enter the store-to-store requisition number. I can update the description if desired. And proceed with retrieving the parts directly from our store-to-store requisition. So if I navigate to the Parts tab, rather than manually adding the part to issue from my central storeroom, I can simply click the Actions drop-down, Retrieve Parts. And you'll notice that this retrieved the part that had been added to the store-to-store requisition. So now what I can do is I can confirm the issue quantity, make sure I have enough on hand to issue the materials from the bin within the central storeroom. Now, as a representative of the from or issuing store, I will need to change the status of this store-to-store issue to approved as soon as the materials leave my storeroom or are retrieved from the bin locations. These materials will then show as being in transit from the central storeroom to the point of use storeroom. Now my preference for viewing the stock in transit is from the store screen on the Stock in Transit tab. So let's take a look. From the Materials menu, navigate to Setup, then down to Stores. If I were to look at the Point of Use for store, and then navigate to the Stock in Transit tab, this will show you all of the materials in transit to the selected store. Now, if I wanted to view this information from the issuing store, which would be the central storeroom, I could simply change the data SPY to show the From store. So this would represent the materials that are in transit from the central storeroom. If I was viewing it from the perspective of the point of use, I could view the information from the perspective of what's inbound or on its way to my point of use store. Now, as you can suspect, the next step in the process would be to process a store-to-store receipt. The store-to-store receipt screen is available from the Materials menu under Transactions, Store-to-Store Receipts. Once again, if you're using store-to-store requisitions, you could go ahead and just enter in the store-to-store requisition to populate the necessary information, and then you have an opportunity to update the store-to-store receipt description if desired. Once again, I could manually add the parts, or I could click Actions Retrieve Parts. And as the receiving store, I would need to confirm the physical quantity being received, as well as the bin that I'm going to place the materials in within my storeroom. Once this information is confirmed, you could proceed with approving the store-to-store receipt, and at that point in time, the parts would be in stock in the receiving store and available for consumption. I hope you found this quick overview on store-to-store transfers following the requisition issue and receipt process helpful. Thanks for tuning in.